Hi, this is August 2nd, 2014. This is the second firing of Maple number 1. And I made some slight modifications after the first time. It's hard to describe what they were, but it had to do with how the air gets to the fire. Minor modifications. Speaking of how the air gets to the fire, there are two ways. The primary air intake is this little cabinet pole down on the lower left attached to a piece of angle iron, and you swing that down like that and that will close it off, and the result is, and it may be hard to see exactly, but the secondaries have started to fire, and the secondaries are fed by two 1-inch pipes in the lower left corner, lower right corner, and they're a U-shaped piece, basically meeting with a horizontal piece across the top near the front of the stove. And I guess the way that you can tell that this is secondary flame activity is that they seem to be floating around as opposed to coming up from the logs. Okay, so we'll open this back up again to show you the difference. You see how that log on the lower right ignited right away? This is what you want to happen. And during the first firing, I went outside, and by the time the fire was 30 minutes old, there was nothing but heat waves coming from the top of the chimney, which is what you want, a nice clean burn. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit and get the whole picture again. It's very quiet and peaceful. Let's see, to review, and it's a little bit dark in here, I've painted the sides the midnight green. The shell for the stove is 12 inches by 12 inches by 18 inches tall, 1/4 inch thick, what's called a rectangular steel tubing. There is a plate welded on the bottom, and I'll remove the ash apron to show you that. And on the top we have a plate that's bolted in place, and sitting on top of it is a piece of 1.25 inch soapstone. This stove is set up with 5-inch black pipe, so it has a nice steady draw which goes up to the metal vestas, up to the top of the barn roof. The previous versions I had used 4-inch, which worked fine. Turns out 4-inch is very difficult to obtain from any of the stores. Even my wholesale supplier doesn't stock 4-inch pipe, so I switched to the 5-inch. And this happens to be vented from the rear of the stove. This could also be vented from the top of the stove, but it would limit the amount of cooking surface and also the surface that the soapstone occupies. We'll zoom in a little bit for the final view of the fire. This maple is set up with the door on the front. It's possible to have 2 sides or even 3 sides set up with windows and or doors that are able to be opened. Thank you for watching.